Be here this morning. It's great when you speak last because most of the people have already said what you wanted to say, so you don't actually have to repeat it. So I'll be very brief. Suffice to say that this, of course, is a very historic occasion because Lautoka, as you know, for a number of years, and if I am to be corrected, probably a couple of decades, has not seen a new hotel in Lautoka. Notwithstanding the fact that Lautoka is the second largest city in Fiji, the room inventory in this town has been very, very low. The ability of this town to host international events, to host even national events, is also very, very limited. And as has been highlighted by the administrator, a number of projects are on foot at the moment that will actually culminate in positioning Lautoka in a much better place to be able to say to the rest of Fiji, and of course to the outside world, that it has the capacity to host a number of events. So for example, as was highlighted by the Honourable Prime Minister yesterday when he was at Victoria Courts, that government has allocated in excess of $2 million in the 2016 budget to ensure that the upgrade of the Churchill Park is completed with an all-weather track. What does this mean? It means that Lautoka now has the capacity to perhaps host the what we call Fiji Finals or Coca-Cola Games. Now, we've always had the Coca-Cola Games in Suva, so all the children, all the students from the Western Division and other parts of Fiji have always had to travel to Suva. So this now gives an opportunity for Lautoka to be able to host the people from the Central and Eastern Divisions. But the question then is, if you have an all-weather track, you want to host the international event, do you have enough room hotels? So this is how all the jigsaw puzzles fit in. You again, of course, have the Tapu City development with the new cinemas coming on board. I also read in the papers that the neighbors next door are going to do an upgrade. Obviously, this is the competition that's being created and generated because of the fact that this new hotel is going to be built. So people themselves are going to compete to try and maintain a position within the market. And this is what we are here to do. We are here to provide that level playing field and to have that level of competition within the market that ultimately benefits businesses, but also benefits the consumers. It benefits ordinary Fijians, it benefits people who want to come to Fiji where they are able to have a range of choices. Ladies and gentlemen, there is, of course, this site, as you know, was a subject to a number of legal issues before the courts. Those, of course, have now been resolved. But those people, I also like to give a message to those people actually who are opposing it, that as you can see, the site is not taking over Shirley Park. It is a small portion of Shirley Park. And I think, unfortunately, there was a lot of misinformation regarding the size of the allocation of the lease vis-a-vis the park itself. So those people who were actually cautious about it, please be rest assured that Shirley Park is still operational. You will also have now a internationally recognized hotel company has been said by Romit that will be managing this particular property. Lautoka will be better positioned, so everybody actually wins. And this is what we want. This is what government is here to do. It's here to create, it's here to facilitate an environment where everybody benefits from it and everybody is able to participate. It will lead to job creation, and which is very, very important for us. It would be amiss of me not to mention this at all. As you know, that government is very, very concerned about the level of domestic violence and abuse. And this is a message that we'll continue to hammer over the next few months. And the reason why we want to drive home this message, irrespective of whatever function it is, because it is a phenomena that is caught hold of our society. It is a phenomena that is actually taking place at the moment, as we speak. And we must all rise to stand up to this challenge. There are people in our society, in particular, as highlighted by the Honourable Prime Minister yesterday, it is in fact generally the very trusted ones who are breaching the confidence and the trust, in particular of children, in particular of women, who are either being raped, sexually assaulted, or being beaten up, simply because they are deemed to be the weaker sex, or because they are women, or because they are children. And we must be able to speak about these issues in the public space. We cannot shy away from it. We generally have a tendency to not talk about these issues in the public space or, in the commercial world, in the private sector. As I said some time back at a particular forum, and indeed I saw in one of the papers yesterday that some international organization has actually launched a study that talks about the cost, the economic cost of domestic violence to our economy. And I think they're calculating something like $230 million. But to put simply, when you have this hotel built here, most of the people who will wait at the tables, most of the people who will be cleaning the rooms, who will be attending to the rooms, generally tend to be women. Now, if they are being bashed up the night before at home, what do you think their levels of productivity would be when they come to work the next morning? What do you think would be the rate of absenteeism for people who get bashed up the night before? It's very, very simple. So apart from the moral, the ethical, and the legal argument, there's also, of course, the commercial and economic argument, for those of you who are more attuned to commercial and economic indicators. It is really a bane on our society. And we must stand up against that. We must all talk about it freely. We must tell our children about it. That is something that must be frowned upon. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to just pick up very briefly on the point that Romit made, and that is to clear a particular myth that a lot of people think that the government is only attuned to helping foreign investors. No, and that is not the case. We're here to, in fact, assist all investors, in particular local investors. And if you see the percentage of investment per the GDP is now in excess of 25%. A lot of that investment now, 19% of the 25%, is actually driven by the private sector. And most of that investment, in fact, in recent times, has come from the local investors. So we appreciate that. We recognize that. We're here to assist you in respect of that. You'll see that the economic policies that we have put in place, in particular over the past 3 to 4 years, have been all very consistent. It follows a particular philosophical way. It's a particular philosophical adherence to ensure that we create a more liberal society, a liberal economy, with the various safeguards that are built in to ensure that we look after those people at the bottom end of the socio-economic scale, so therefore fulfilling the socio-economic rights in the Constitution, but at the same time creating an environment where all businesses are able to flourish and be able to participate equally in the marketplace. So our congratulations once again to the Meghji Group of Companies and the directors. We thank you for your confidence in the Fijian economy. We thank you for your fortitude, and of course, as we've said before, to all the entrepreneurs who are here in this gathering, I see many of them over here, that we should not be restricted to the current businesses that you're doing. As you know, many of you are now perhaps in different businesses, but your forefathers, your foreparents were doing something completely different. They took the initiative to go into a new area. You now also can take the initiative to go into other areas, also new areas. And I think this is where Fiji's future lies, in our ability to be innovative, our ability to be able to create new opportunities, not just for yourself, but for all ordinary Fijians. So thank you once again to the Meghji Group. We of course look forward to a very speedy completion of this property, and we look forward to meeting you here again once the property is completed. Naka, thank you.
Thank you.